Okay, hi. This is Dr. Sara Siddiqui, and I'm here with my monthly um, talk. And this month, we're going to talk about how to stay active and healthy in the winter months. So it's so cold outside. How are we staying active, which we should try to be doing um, at all times? And honestly, it's hard for all of us right now when it's so cold. Let's see, we're gonna try to share my screen and I'm gonna try to start the presentation. So I'm so happy to be here. And I'm not sure if we can see, well, we're just gonna, yeah, go for it. Okay, so how to stay active and healthy in the winter months. And I have no disclosures to make. Again, this presentation is for educational purposes only and does not replace any medical advice. Of course, you are free to speak to your own medical provider for any advice given here. And also, reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always happy to chat and talk. And I always like to say thank you to the Elwood Public Library for giving me this opportunity to speak regarding different topics. Of course, if you have any topics that you want to be covered, please give a shout out to Susan Goldberg at the library or reach out to me and let me know what you guys are interested in. So let's get started. Why do we need to stay active? Well, anytime I see the kids in the office and the families, it's really important that we always try to stay active, especially now with school sometimes being remote, and even for adults that are at home or doing working from home, we're sedentary a little bit more and we're sitting at our computers a little bit more. So it is really important to counteract that with some activity, because really it's more for activity. Activity helps our brain and our mind. It also helps our body, obviously, but it's for our brain to really keep that active and make sure that we have positive hormones going and some positive endorphins, and that really helps us to have a good mindset. And it just makes us feel better and happy. Like one of my favorite movies, Legally Blonde, as Elwood says, that happy people just don't want to shoot anybody. Why would they? So exercise makes you happy, and happy people wouldn't want to shoot anybody. So, all right. So, go watch Legally Blonde. It's one of my favorites. So tips on staying healthy. And you do want to overall try to stay healthy in the winter months. The days are a little bit shorter. The sun time is a little bit shorter. So we want to try to get our bodies to be as healthy as ever so that we can avoid getting sick and keep our immune systems nice and strong. So the tips on just overall health and wellness, you want to stay hydrated. So water. I kind of need to remind myself a lot too, because at work when we're wearing our masks, honestly, even at school when the children are wearing their masks or when you're working, it's hard to kind of continually drink that water. And we do need a lot of water, where our bodies are 80% water. So we really need to hydrate our bodies. And one of the other things that I concentrate on telling the children and families at work is that water really helps our skin. So our skin is one of the largest organs in our body. And keeping our skin intact actually really helps avoid germs and viruses and bacteria from getting into our body. So our skin is kind of our first line of defense. And by making sure that you have enough water in your body, your skin can also maintain hydration and stay intact. And you can help to avoid dry skin when you're drinking enough water. But aside from that, water just keeps us healthy, keeps our immune system active and energized. And so staying hydrated is really important. Sleeping well. Sometimes this is easier said than done for all children and families. It's really important that everybody has a good sound sleep at night. You want to try to get, depending on your age, 8 to 10 hours. Some people can go on a little bit less. Some people need a little bit more, but that's the general recommendation. It gets to be hard sometimes, but try. Avoid stress. So stress is around us all the time, and our body does have certain responses that it's used to during stressful times, but we really want to try to have times in the day or times during the week where we're kind of trying to maintain a stress-free or minimal stress environment. So activity does that too. In that 20 or 30 minutes that you might be exercising or staying active or being outside, playing with your children, those are kind of stress-free times. Again, staying active is just so important. I can't stress that enough. Even little pockets of activity, so it doesn't have to be 20 minutes all at once. You can actually do 10 minutes or 5 minutes multiple times. The more you do it, the better, actually, but it is really important to maintain movement. Eating healthy, so along with staying hydrated, just trying to eat healthy, trying to stick with, and I'm going to probably be saying that over and over during the presentation as well, but eating your fruits and vegetables, getting your lean proteins in, getting some dairy, just really eating a variety of colors and making sure that we get all the nutrition that we need. That's really important. And of course, try to maintain all your vaccinations, getting your flu shot this year, and any other vaccinations if you're eligible for the COVID vaccine, or you want to talk to your provider about that. I would encourage you, if you are eligible, to seek that out and get that. I'm hoping that there will be more opportunity and more disbursement of the vaccinations coming up soon. And I think hopefully once we get the supply issues going, I know at NYU, Langone, once we have a little bit of an increased supply, we will be helping the community with the vaccine distribution as well. So keep in touch with your provider regarding that. So what are some of the best ways to stay active? It's difficult. You want to pick something that you enjoy doing or that you've always kind of wanted to do. There's many, many different ways to get active and stay active if you want to try something new. But try to do, if you're not active and you're becoming active, you do want to stretch. You also want to speak to your doctor or provider before starting any new regimen, but you want to stretch your body and kind of condition it a little bit before you start any strenuous exercise. You want to start off slow. You want to work towards 15 to 20 minutes a day, but again, you can start off a little bit less than that and just do it daily. And you want to make it a habit. So you want to try to, and involve the children, involve the family, get everybody involved. And the kids, it's really important for kids to be active as well. And they are naturally active, right? When you see toddlers, when you see our, even when they first start walking, they're kind of just going. They're going. And so our bodies are supposed to be moving like that as well. So try to do it with the family. And you want to try to make it a habit. So once you build it up into your routine, sometimes it can take a few weeks to get motivated and to build it and becoming a habit. But once you have it as a habit, it's very easy to continue it. But for those first few weeks, you really have to build that motivation. You actually have to push yourself to do it, and then you will do it. Once you start it, you will do it. Maybe grab a friend, maybe grab a family member, maybe do, online, try to do a Zoom community or Facebook or some type of challenge where you're held accountable. That's what helps me, that if I know that I have to meet someone, or I'm gonna kind of answer to them or answer to my husband later on when he asks me, what did you do today? If I have some accountability, it does help me to try to encourage me to be active. And of course, try to do something with the entire family. So it's cold out, I know that, and but it still is, maybe when you need to clean the driveway or clean the walkway, have the kids outside with you, maybe kind of playing in the snow while you're there, so that everybody gets that little bit of activity. And I will kind of discuss what things to watch for when you're outside in the cold with the children, especially. You want to dress warm. You want to make sure that you keep an eye on how long they are outside in the cold. You do want to watch for things like frostbite and things like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. So another reason why it's really important to maintain activity, especially in the winter months and there's less sunlight outside, is because you do want to try to decrease screen time. Screen time is a big issue right now. We are seeing children being more and more on the screen. We're seeing decreased interest in sports, decreased interest in outside activities because the children and adults are just on the screen. So we want to try to decrease that time. So staying active and doing actually some exercise regimen will help decrease total screen time in the day. Again, encouraging activity as a family is really important, and that encourages family time, maybe talking to the rest of the members of the family, putting that phone away or putting that device away really does help. And you can even start other hobbies and interests while spending time indoors. So everything activity related does not have to be outdoors. You can do lots of activities inside because it's cold out and it's not plausible to be outside for a prolonged period of time, especially if there's a snowstorm going on. So there are things that you can do, hobbies, interests that you can do indoors. And it doesn't have to be something that you're expert at. You can learn something with your kids and do something new together, perform the activity as a family. And during the screen time, what I've been trying to encourage my families to do, and my kids to do actually as well, is if they're on the screen, even on a remote day, to try after the end of every period or class, or every half hour or 40 minutes, to really move around your shoulders. So doing some shoulder stretching. So I try to go, backwards 10 times and then forwards 10 times, and maybe do it when you're out. And then I also encourage to do neck rolls as well. That's really important, to try to stretch out our neck. And then really make sure that your posture is correct. Keep your core tight, especially when you're sitting for prolonged periods of time. You do want to kind of put your core in. When you kind of suck in your core or really concentrate on your core while you're sitting, it really does. That's actually activity. That's actually you're tightening and loosening your muscles. And that's actually a little type of activity that you can do while you're sitting. So keeping your shoulders back and sitting up while you're sitting is actually a little bit of an activity. So you really want to encourage the kids and yourself to try to do some type of movement even between while you're sitting. So if you're working from home or you're always on the screen, it's helpful to try to do that. And as I was kind of reading about decreasing screen time, I did see that a lot of ophthalmologists, like the American Academy of Ophthalmologists, also and optometrists, are recommending the 20-20-20. So that's also eye breaks. Every 20 minutes, you want to take a break from your screen and focus on something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So that's the 20-20-20. And because, believe it or not, we are seeing younger and younger kids and children and adults resulting in myopia, which is where you are you're having trouble seeing close. So because we're always seeing the close screen on the iPad, the phone, and the computer is like really close distance, our eyes are becoming accustomed to that, and you're having trouble seeing. So it's really important, and that means that sometimes needing glasses at an earlier age or for a longer period of time, so it can kind of change our vision. And so the 20-20-20 will helps with that. It's some eye exercise that you can do. So try building some new habits in the winter time. It's February, so we're kind of like out of the change of where we're doing our New Year's resolutions. Sometimes we started thinking about New Year's resolutions, and now it's February, and some of them went out the window, or some of them, you're maintaining, which is great, very good. But if, like me, they kind of all, fell by the wayside, time to kind of regenerate that. So a Zoom book club. There's many, many options out there. Actually, Elwood Public Library has a lot of options. They even have book clubs. They have Zoom book clubs. And there's even other hobbies that you can try to start. Crochet, knitting, sewing. These are all things that I've always wanted to do. Actually, whenever I'm at the library, I wind up picking up a book about crocheting and knitting. And I start it. So I have a million little projects that I'm always starting. I haven't quite completed any yet. But it is something that you can do together as a family or on your own, and that also decreases some of your screen time. Painting. So we all had like Zoom night painting, through various school activities and functions, and it is a great thing to do as a family as well. You can pick up some supplies. It's pretty reasonable. And then you can kind of go online, find YouTube videos explaining how to paint, have a painting party with your friends on Zoom or wherever. And that's kind of a new habit. And these all are ways to get our mind engaged, right? So it's not only just having activity where you're trying to just build your cardiovascular system or you're just trying to exercise. It's about just getting your mind in a little bit of a different place, because it's very easy, because the days are smaller, the sun is out less. There is something where we do get a little bit sad, which is seasonal affective disorder, which is because in the winter months we have shorter days. Gets a little bit tougher. So all these things can help us. Pottery, that's something that I've never had a chance to do, but I always wanted to do. So I will try to learn about pottery, because I always wanted to do that. So as I was kind of, reviewing what I should talk about, I thought I would throw that in there because that's something that I wanted to do. So if anybody has any ideas about how to start pottery or where I could start, please let me know. Okay, so some other ideas about indoor activities. So YouTube has a wealth of information, even Pinterest. If you kind of just throw in any kind of word or name or thing that you like to do, you could put it in there and you can get all sorts of free videos that you can watch and learn from and try. Actually, yoga at the library, they have chair yoga, which you don't really need that much equipment. You don't have to and it provides a little bit of exercise and movement and stretching, and is good for you. Any kind of movement is great. It's better than not doing anything. So even walking around in your neighborhood, walking is better than sitting on your couch and looking at your phone. So that's what I always try to tell myself, that even though I'm not doing like a race, I'm not running a marathon, just a little bit of activity is better than nothing. I'm a big fan of high intensity interval training. That's where there's different methods of it. And I don't know if you've watched any of my previous talks, I talk about Tabatas or talk about just really maximal output with your training. Let's say you're running or walking. You do 20 seconds where you're doing really high output, and then 10 seconds of rest, or kind of like medium output. And then you start with the 20 seconds again. So you do that for about 8 minutes. That's actually a Tabata, where actually the classical Tabata is 4 minutes, where you do 8 rounds, but you can also do 8 minutes. You could do any number of minutes, but you're basically doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or you could do 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And again, any type of movement, stretching is very important, and strength training. So for those of us that are getting older, which, I like to say that I'm getting younger, my kids are getting older, but I'm getting younger. You do want to strength train. So you do want to use those weights. If you can get a 5 or 2.5 pound, 5 pound, 10 pound, anything that you like, that you can lift, do multiple movements. It's really important for our bone health, especially for women and men. But women, I'm always hearing about how women don't want to do the weights, or, I haven't been to that section of the gym, or I'm not really sure what to do with weights. There's so many things that you can do and really push yourself to do higher weights. There's also lots of body weight activities that you can do just using your own body. So the kids, sometimes I'll do a plank challenge with my daughter, and you just get into a plank and get your body all nice and straight, and your core tight, and see how long you can stay in that position. A plank is one of those great movements that you can feel every second. So a minute plank, start off with a minute. There's also plank challenges all over the internet that you can find, and that can kind of help you. And that's a really great core exercise, and it's a good body exercise, and you don't need any equipment. You just need a timer, if that, and you definitely feel each second on that. Jumping jacks, jump ropes, again, the planks, push-ups, sit-ups, these are all really, really great exercises that you don't need a lot of equipment. So outdoor activities. So back to outdoors, though it's still, it's cold. So I understand that you don't want to go outside, but the kids love outside. They love the snow. So sometimes it is helpful to go outside. You have to dress warm. Make sure that the core is nice and warm. And you want to make sure that you cover the hands and the feet. You want to make sure you're having moisture wicking clothing so that if things get wet, the moisture is going away from the body, because it's the wet clothes. If you stay in wet, that is more concern for frostbite and ultimately decreased sensation, so you get numb, and then you don't know how cold you are. So that can be very dangerous, especially for young children. So we really want to be very, very careful. On the days that are really cold, you really don't want to be outside for too long. And again, you want to stay hydrated, and that's what really helps to prevent frostbite. And you do want to make sure that you take frequent breaks. So frequent breaks are really, really important, that you come inside, get warmed up. If you do find that your child has really cold hands or cold feet, you don't want to run them under warm or hot water. You want, because that can burn them and they won't know because their hands are numb right now. So you want to run under cool or warm water, and that helps the blood flow a little bit. And you really want to kind of make sure that their hands are getting warmer. So that is really very, very important. Again, sometimes it is really important that if you are active outside and you want to go out for a walk or jog or run, that you stay comfortable and that you really watch your heart rate and how much you're exerting yourself. If you're not really an outdoor runner, I wouldn't recommend it when it's very cold out, because you won't sense that your body might be excessively cold, or you might not sense if you're kind of at a place where you're getting fatigued, you might not sense it because your body is trying to keep itself warm. And if you're running and your heart rate's high, you also tend to increase your metabolism, which is great, but you're losing heat. So your body can get colder, when you're slowing down. So we really want to make sure that we are very, very careful when we do any outdoor activities in the cold. I think I just saw a video right before I came on here about someone jumping into the water and Robert Moses. So we really want to be careful about activities like that. You want to do it monitored. You want to be with people, and you never want to do any of those things alone. So if you wanted to jump into the cold water, like the Polar Bear Club and things like that, jump in and jump out literally like a second, and come back and dry off and then dress warm. It can be very invigorating, but please be safe and don't do that by yourself. Always do that with a few people with you. And wow, what an invigorating thing. I don't think I would be able to ever do that. That's great. So some other activities to keep our minds active, like I was saying before, decreased screen time is so important. And again, activity is good for our mind and our body. And the library is such a great place to have lots of ideas and things that they're doing. They have, I was also just looking at the library flyer, and they have crafts that you can pick up and do with your family and your children. The library has audiobooks that you can also listen to. There's also podcasts that you can listen to while you're moving around and kind of doing things at home. You can listen to different podcasts, listen about different things, anything that you're interested in. And of course, things like crosswords, puzzles, Sudoku. I know when I was growing up with my family, my dad always had a puzzle out, and we would always try to get the puzzle. He loved like lots of pieces, 5,000 piece puzzles. We would have it on the dining room table, and it would be something that we would do as a family. And puzzles definitely get your mind kind of, going and interacting. I just wanted to touch on healthy eating. So important. Again, hydration is very important, but really fruits and vegetables, especially in this time of year. In the winter time, it's very common to forget that we should always try to maintain our healthy eating. It does keep our immune system active. There are lots and lots of viruses and like the cold and congestion viruses that occur in the wintertime, because they actually have stickier, I guess, like they actually do affect us more in the wintertime because they are easier, because your mucus tends to kind of increase and be thicker during the winter time. And so these certain viruses and bacteria, and especially the flu virus, which we're not seeing a lot of, knock on wood, thank goodness right now. But it is very common to get those diseases in the wintertime. So it is very important to keep our immune system nice and strong. And the way we do that is by eating healthy and hydrating. So increasing your fruits and vegetables. Oranges are so in season right now. It's amazing that something that's so high in vitamin C comes in a nice little package, has great fiber. So not so much juice. We're not big fans of juice, but fresh fruits and vegetables, if you can get that, really is the most healthiest. And then it gives you the fiber that you need. And again, lean protein is also very important. So family mealtime, I wanted to talk about that a little bit too. So about staying, it's a good activity that you can do as a family. You know, prepare your meal, think about what you want to make, get your whole family into it, and get input from each of the kids, and prep the meal, go buy the things, prep the meal together, cook the meal, eat the meal, and clean up together. What a great activity. And, you know, I got to say, since we've been in the shutdown, we've been having a lot of meal times at home. And, you know, there are some silver linings to the whole pandemic that has gone on. And I got to say, one of the silver linings that I've seen and I've got to enjoy a little bit is having family meal time. I think prior to the pandemic, we would be lucky if we would have one meal a week with the entire family. And now, thankfully, we can have, you know, at least 3 to 5 meals together as a family in a week. So, you know, the dinner time meal. And that is so, so important. Believe it or not, the kids do talk during the family meal times if you can put away the devices. And I myself also sometimes have a problem with my device as well. So if you just put away your device while you're doing the family meal time, it really does open up the conversation and make everybody involved. So winter weekly family game time. We try to, you know, pick a board game and try to play. Actually, we've been playing Monopoly Deal, which I forgot to write on here. But reading together, playing a board game. Clue has been one of my favorites. Scrabble is good. Boggle, and then chess when the kids say yes. And again, the public library has, Elwood Public Library has screen-free take and make crafts for all ages. So check those out. They also have a lot of things in their flyer that you can do that help keep you active. And now that, because we haven't been doing so many in-person races, they have virtual races. I've seen them all over the place online. Sometimes they have specific causes that you can donate to. You get like a nice T-shirt saying that you joined, and you can do it at the comfort of your home, or you can take a walk outside. It doesn't even have to be a run. You can start a Couch to 5K program around this time of year, and then be ready to go by the time April and May rolls around. And hopefully, maybe there'll be some 5Ks that we can start joining in, hopefully in the spring and summer, once the vaccines for COVID are distributed a little bit more. Maybe we can start to see getting together and things like that. Start a challenge in your school district or with family and friends, and encourage each other. Log in your miles, walking, running, skiing, cross-country skiing. It's a great, great activity that you can do outside, biking, or even some movement just at home. Again, what I talked about with the plank challenge, push-up challenge, and then try to do it via Zoom. Oh, I have a spell problem here, but I meant Zoom building, like meaning that use Zoom to increase how many challenges, or what you can kind of do and who you're exposed to. So I found, well, how many push-ups can you do in a minute? So this is a study that was done by Harvard, at Harvard. And what they did was they followed people for 10 years. And it's very interesting. So how many push-ups can you do in a minute? They published the study, and they could predict, and this is for men over the age of 40, the number may predict your risk of heart disease. And this was published by Journal of the American Medical Association, February 15, 2019, so 2 years ago. And they analyzed data from healthy firefighters. So firefighters, you know, they're pretty active and healthy average. And so they asked them to see how many push-ups they can do in a minute. So they found that specifically those, this is really interesting. So maybe we should try to all do more push-ups. So those who could do 40 or more push-ups in a minute had a 96% lower risk than those who could only do 10 or fewer. So the men that could even do 11 had lower risk too, but you could see, and there are graphs if you want to look the study up, it's amazing how much of a lower risk the people that could do more push-ups were. And I think push-ups is kind of a gauge generally as to how active you are. So it's not that you're just gonna, if you were able to do 40 push-ups in a minute, that's it, but it just, I think it correlates well with how active and healthy you are if you can do those, you know, those push-ups. So February is also Heart Health Month for men and women, and that's why, you know, the other day we were all wearing red at the office. So talk to your doctor about risks of heart disease. It's another reason why we really want to encourage activity. Again, eat a varied diet, lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, dairy. So look up heart health and you can find all sorts of information about a good heart healthy diet. Speak with your primary care doctor to make sure a program is safe, or a diet, you know, I don't like to even say the word diet. I like to say just changing your lifestyle. Get active, so 20 minutes a day. And if you can just get to that goal every day, try to do 20 minutes. And then as you do more, you do more. But start with that, get your family involved. It's really important to try. And, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm always doing that either. I have trouble, you know, it's hard for me to sometimes work out or exercise, get my daily exercise. But I think if you have your family behind you, everybody's doing it, then you feel like doing it more also. And I just wanted to, I think we're almost at the end here. So just continue to wear your mask. You know, I can't not say that. So wear your mask, avoid crowds, practice hand hygiene, stay in touch with your doctor, be safe, be well. I really do enjoy these talks. I hope you do too. And I hope I can give you a little bit of information that may have helped you. If you have any comments or questions, please post it. And again, if you have any suggestions or anything that you want me to talk about, I'm happy to. If you need to get in touch with me for any reason, please, you can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me through the library. Yeah, and thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. All right, take care. Have a great night. Thank you.